Hello! Over the next few weeks, we are going to have a series of devotionals about the life of David and looking at some of his psalms. So I thought I'd kick off with the first psalm, which is one of my favourites, Psalm 19, which reads, "The heavens proclaim the glory of God, the skies display his craftsmanship. Day after day they continue to speak, night after night they make him known. They speak without word or sound, their voice is never heard, yet their message has gone throughout the earth, and their words to all the world." And I love that psalm because in it David captures something of what I feel when I'm outside. And I don't know about you, but in the last few days when the sun started shining and suddenly the world seemed a brighter place. And when you go outside and you see the sun and you see the sky, or if you're out for a long walk, and if you've been up into the hills or something like that, not now obviously, but in times past, there's something about it that just makes your heart sing of the beauty of God, and something about how tiny we are and how awesome and amazing God is. And one of my absolute favourite things is when you're going out for one of those walks and the sky comes over black, really black, and suddenly an almighty rainstorm happens and you are completely drenched to the bone. And then the sun comes out, and across the sky is this most amazing rainbow. And it's massive and it's beautiful, and it's just something unreal about it, the way that all the colours are shining together. And the rainbow really has captured people's imagination throughout the whole of time. And I don't know if you've noticed, at the moment the rainbow seems to be catching people's imagination again. And all across Portishead there's rainbows appearing in people's windows. There's little rainbows and big rainbows, and just across my street there's rainbows popping up. And people are using rainbows as a symbol of hope. Hope that actually the sun will shine again, even after these dark times. And it got me thinking about why rainbows. And recent times we're quite familiar with the rainbow being a symbol of unity and a symbol of, particularly the LGBT movement has adopted the rainbow as a symbol of diversity and yet acceptance. And before that, in the 1960s, the peace movements in America again chose to use the rainbow to symbolise something of that peace that they were hoping for. But way, way, way before any of that, if we look back at the story at the very beginning of the Bible, we see the story of Noah. Now, Noah lived in very dark times. The world had gone wrong, and it came upon the land as mighty flood. And after the flood, Noah and his family come out of the ark, and they have this amazing conversation with God. And God says to them, "This is my covenant which I am giving to you. Never again will I destroy the earth. Never again will I throw away everything I've made. Never again will I do that. And my promise, and to remind me and to remind you, I give you this sign." And that sign is the sign of the rainbow. And since then, throughout all of Christian history, the rainbow has been that sign of promise, that sign of hope, that sign that even in dark times, God will never abandon his people. And I think that's why David talks about the heavens declaring the glory of God, not just in the majesty of how awesome they are, but also in the fact that the very fabric of the earth, the way that God has knitted it together, put the laws of creation and the law of physics together, all of that points to his promises. And we know that those promises went on to be fulfilled in Jesus, and that his ultimate redemption fulfills that covenant promise that actually we can reconnect with God, and we are his precious, precious children. And that's the truth. That's the truth of who we are. That's the truth of who he is. And we are tiny. And it feels sometimes like in the midst of everything that's going on, we can seem really insignificant. And yet we know, however dark the storm is, however bad it is, however scary it is being isolated, or equally those people who are out on the front line, who are working in jobs where they're constantly being brought into faith with people who are ill and people who are dying. Whichever side of it we're on, we know that God has not abandoned us. We know that God promises to walk alongside us. And we know that if we ever doubt that, we just need to look out the window and see the beauty and the majesty of his creation. And it will remind us of just how much he loves us and just how invested he is in his world, in his planet. So may you today be captured again by the beauty and the majesty of God's creation. May you be able to take your worries, your fears, your hopes and your dreams and give them to the one whose hands shape the stars, who forms the rainbows in the sky. And maybe as an act of worship today, you might want to paint or draw or cut out a rainbow of your own and stick it in your window. And then as people go past or as people look out of their windows, they'll see your rainbows. They'll see rainbows dotting all across Portishead and all across this land as a symbol of that hope and that promise that we have, that even though it's dark now, the light will come again in the end of this storm. Thank you.